Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 weeks of being on a hiatus, we have returned for the final 3 races of the NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series, and we return to Texas Motor Speedway, a place that we have been to at least 6 months ago that saw Tatiana Nogueira take home the victory that particular night all the way back in April. And here we are just 6 months later, and this is one of the other 3 tracks that is going to determine just exactly how this championship is going to unfold once we get to Homestead, Miami in just 2 weeks' time. As always, I'm Elijah Leonard here with you, bringing you the action here for our 21st McDonald's Cup Series race of the season. It is the NXT 500. And after tonight, there will be 2 races left. We'll be at the Phoenix International Raceway next Saturday, and then Homestead, Miami, also on the 9th of November, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be really fun events over there, and we're really excited. And we're looking forward to bringing you the action here from the Texas Motor Speedway. Just in case if you weren't with us just 3 weeks ago on the 4th of October, we ran at Martinsville 200 laps, and the race, for the most part, was nothing short of chaotic, somewhat controversial, somewhat thrilling, exciting, but also, at the end of the night, I should say, it wound up seeing John Andrews making history, not only by nabbing his third Pepsi, wow, I'm getting completely mixed up, his third McDonald's Cup Series win of the season. He becomes the first ever McDonald's Cup Series driver to win 3 races in 1 season. So very impressive performance by John Andrews. And with that, he has increased his points lead by 79 points over Edson Hernandez, who sits second with 442 points. As you can see, we're transitioning over to our point standings. 5 points back from Hernandez is Tyler Belladonna, another driver who could still wound up getting win number 3 on the season and adding on to that historic tenure of an elite class of drivers who have won 3 races in 1 season. So far, John Andrews is alone in that little classroom of drivers who have won 3 races in 1 year. Skylar Taylor, currently 4th, still has yet to get a win this year. 422 points to his bank account. Then we have Rogel Doran completing the top 5. Our Kansas winner with 414. Chad Gronkowski 6th with 411 points, tied with Will Parrish. But obviously, as you can see, Gronkowski breaks that tie due to the fact that, of course, he does have 2 wins. One at Talladega and another one at Michigan just a few months back. Will Parrish still trying to look for his first win of the year. Michael Young, who starts on the pole position, sitting in the 8th position with 8th spot in the points, with 401. John Felber, our Sonoma winner, with 388 points to his name, and Terry Walker comes back up into the top 10 for the first time in a little while with 386 points to his bank account. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of your points standings right there on your screen. This is exactly how it looks here, and there's our defending race winner, Tatiana Nogueira, sitting in the 30th position with 309 points, tied with Michael DeFeo. Then we also have BB Hange, another good driver who I want to discuss just a little bit. BB Hange is another driver that has just had a very abysmal late stages of the season. You can see they're 27th in the point standings with 326 points in his bank account. That is not the type of ending to the season that BB Hange is looking for whatsoever. So I would 100% have to imagine that Hange is going to do everything in his ability to try to finish off the season strong and rack up as many points as he possibly can. But he's going to have his work cut out for him, as you can barely see him lined up behind Michael DeFeo, in front of Mitchell O'Brien, just probably about, maybe I'd say row 10-ish or so. That is where BB Hange is. He does have a little bit of work cut out for him, but it should be fun to watch as we get ready to go for 167 laps from here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup here For the NXT 500, of course, as I mentioned, it is Michael Young who starts on the pole position here for this race. Bryce Egan lining up alongside our Chicagoland winner. Sammy Carr starting in the 3rd position. John Felber starting 4th. Edson Hernandez completes the top 5. Derek Hamill starting in the 6th position. Terry Walker 7th. Casey Wells will start 8th. Chad Gronkowski, Ryan Durrani, they make up the 10th row. And then following behind them is Bob Floyd, Matthew Hubert, Josh Lee, Jeremiah Simpson, Travis Crampton, Rogel Dorn, John Andrews starting in the 17th position in car number 17. It'll be interesting to see how his night plays out. Then we have Stephen Colon, Michael DeFeo, Daniel Adams, BB Hange, as we alluded to a little bit ago. There's Wyatt Walker in the 99. We also have Mitchell O'Brien, Dale Johnson II, Alex Rampus, Nia Steidel starting in the 26th position. We had then PJ Vidal, Avon Murray starting in the 28th spot, and then Will Parrish, Skylar Taylor, Val Moscow, Zachary Fitzwater, Matt Jones, Sebastian Palmer, Kyler Sustry, Nathan Stapleton starting 36th, Damian Kyle Wood 37th, Tyler Belladonna 3rd in the point standings, starting all the way back in 38th. Another top contender in the point standings. Should be interesting to see how his night plays out, with Roberto Crown Jr. and Alex Salvatali starting in the 20th row, and then Tatiana Noguera, Colin Block, they make up the provisional starting spots here for tonight's 21st McDonald's Cup Series event. The real reason as to why we're running this race on a Thursday night instead of its initial date of tomorrow, October 25th, is because, well, I'll be out of town over the weekend. So we're going to be running this race. That way it is done and out of the way, and we can be smooth sailing on into the weekend. So glad that you could be here with us here on a Thursday night here at the Texas Motor Speedway, and it should be very fun. Only 2 races left after tonight. It's going to be wild. The drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up. But in order to get these 42 behemoths rolling on the track, let's go trackside to get the command to fire these engines. Are we, okay.
Start your engines!
I was a little curious. I must have taken I was probably going a little bit too fast, but you know what? It's just fine. Engines have fired, pace cars rolling off, so are these 42 competitors. And as I mentioned, coming into this race, John Andrews, who starts 17th, has a 79 points gap over Edson Hernandez, who starts 5th in this race. If John Andrews can secure a 100-point lead by Phoenix, or after Phoenix, he will officially have locked up the 2024 McDonald's Cup Series Championship before going to Homestead. But so many things could possibly happen that could shake up the championship picture, and and all of it could start right here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Only 3 races left in the McDonald's Cup Series circuit, and the final leg of the 2024 season starts right here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Field comes off of turn number 4. Pace car is going to drop on down to pit road, and the field is put into the hands of Michael Young and the number 5 of Bryce Egan. They're going to lead us down to the green flag to get race 21 underway. Big start there for the 18 of Michael Young. He breaks out with the advantage heading back into turn number 1. Sammy Cars also moves up into the 2nd position. Hernandez knocking on the door for 3rd here as they come down the front straightaway. First lap led by Michael Young in the 18. He picks up that single bonus point for leading a lap. Remember, it's 1 bonus point for leading a lap, 5 for leading the most laps, 10 bonus points for winning the race. It's pretty much 40 points if you finish first. But again, those 10 bonus points for winning means oh so much. 3-car breakaway here, single file. Bryce Egan breaks out of the pack, retaining the 3rd position. Terry Walker on the charge here for that 4th position on Edson Hernandez in the 31. Again, 79 points back. That's how far back Hernandez is. So in order for him to make up that gap, he is going to have to absolutely probably try to go on a tear here when it comes down to points. Maybe lead a lap here, maybe try to win this race, and hope and pray that John Andrews has an absolutely terrible night here at the Texas Motor Speedway. So many things could possibly happen that could, allow that scenario to actually become reality. But we're just going to have to find out here. Again, 167 laps, still a long way to go. They're 3 wide here with Hernandez up top, John Felber in the middle. Chad Gronkowski was on the bottom, but they quickly had settled that back down. We're 3 wide over here with John Andrews on the bottom. That's our points leader with Ryan Durrani in the middle, who ended up winning the Wendy's Clash all the way back in February. That is some time ago, 8 months back. And Derek Hamill was up top, but they settle it back down to double file action until we get a little bit further back over here. Val Moscow through the grass, same for Matt Jones in the 78, but thankfully they get it sorted back out and we stay green, no caution. Spectacular driving by the 88 and 78, Moscow and Jones. They're able to keep going and live to fight another day. The top 3 continue to break out as now we're going to have ourselves a battle for the 4th position once more. Gronkowski on the inside of the 48 of Terry Walker. Bob Floyd in the number 10 machine, who wound up leading a good portion of the Martinsville race before getting absolutely robbed by John Andrews. Floyd still looking for his first win of the season and is doing everything possible to try to nab that first win, but also try to finish off the season strong. And so far, they're actually doing a pretty nice job at it. You can definitely tell here the pace is slowed down by at least a second. The drivers are now starting to become a little bit more aware that there is a little bit more tire fall off, so the drivers are going to have to woe it down through the corners here, just that way they can get their cars to stick a little bit more to the bottom. IRL, thank you so much for the follow, Fitzy. I really do appreciate it. I hope you're having yourself a great day today. I hope you're getting your weekend off to a really good start. Top 2 break out. That's Sammy Cars in the 43, Michael Young in the 18 machine. They have both broken out first and second with 9 laps complete. Still a very long way to go here in this race, 167 laps. So a lot could happen within that short period of time. For example, John Andrews, remember he started 17th in this race. He has already moved up into the 9th spot. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're looking at the point scenario coming into this event. John Andrews has a 79 points gap over Edson Hernandez. If he can perform as well as he is right now and secure a 100-plus point lead over Hernandez, either by and or after Phoenix, I should say, next Saturday night, we will officially crown our champion before going to Homestead. A lot of jostling over here within the top 5. That's Josh Lee in the 34. They were about 4 wide there, just for a split second, but thankfully they managed to get it back down to double file. That got really close, and I thought they were gonna tumble it all up, or at least trash them all up heading through turns 3 and 4, but thankfully that was not the case. So now top 5 all get single file until you get back over here to the 6th position. Again, Lee on the defense from John Felber in the 16, our Sonoma winner, who's already moved up into the 6th position, just barely edging ahead over the 34 of Lee. Teammate John Andrews is right there, the championship leader. As of right now, Casey Wells in the number 7 machine, having herself a really good night. BB Hange in the number 95, we talked about him a little bit ago, having himself a very abysmal tail end of the 2024 season for him. Our Daytona 500 winner who had a great and strong first half of the season, but unfortunately ended up falling down on the second half. Right now running top 10 early in the going. Great job for the number 95 team. He'll be running the Pumpkin 250 this Monday night, October 28th. That is when the Pumpkin 250 is officially going to be at the Talladega Super Speedway. So excited for that event, and we're hoping that you guys are looking forward to tuning in to see that 94 lapper. Again, Haynes is our defending Pumpkin 250 champion and is looking to try to defend that win that he got just last year. Battle for 4th is on. Or should I say it is officially off, as Terry Walker manages to get by Bob Floyd. No contest whatsoever. You have John Felber here in the 16. Look at Floyd in the number 10, putting the crossover on Terry Walker. Going to try to take back that 4th position like it's nobody's business whatsoever. Down the front straightaway, Walker just barely nabs Floyd at the stripe to retain that 4th position. But heading through turns 1 and 2, it looks like Floyd might have himself the advantage, but they're still pretty dead even down the back straightaway. John Felber in the 16 looking to try to make it 3 wide, which he will. Spectacular racing here at the Texas Motor Speedway for the 4th position. This is all for the 4th position. Floyd's going to take it back, but now he's got John Felber to deal with here as he goes to the inside to try to wrestle that 4th position away. Top 3, again, have all checked out. Young, Cars, and Gronkowski have all checked out, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Floyd is going to retain the 4th position as he clears down on the 16 of Felber. As he completes the top 5, Felber does, then Casey Wells holds on the 6th. John Andrews, our championship leader, currently running in the 7th position. Then 8th is Terry Walker, but he's starting to slip back a little bit. Who is slipping back a little bit with Alex Rampus, you see there, in the 9th position. And then completing the top 10, that is the number 22 of Travis Crampton. Crampton also another driver who has yet to not only score a win, but also going to try to turn his season around, actually. Another driver who is trying to get himself a better finish, try to get himself some better performances to close out the 2024 season so far. Running inside of the top 10, succeeding in that category. Let's take a look further back for the field. There's Edson Hernandez in the number 31 machine, fighting Michael DeFeo. This is for the 17th spot. Hernandez is going to take it. Nia Steidel in the number 41, following in the tire tracks. Seidel started all the way back in the 26th position, I do believe, and has now moved her way up into the 18th position. So far, not a bad night for Nia Steidel. Another driver who is still looking for her first win on the year, and it very well could come tonight if the strategy is played correctly. Who knows, maybe even Phoenix or even Homestead, Miami. It is possible. Anything could happen here in the closing stages of the 2024 season. A little bit further up in the field, there's BB Hange in the 95 being contested by the 88 of Val Mosco. Remember, Mosco won at Las Vegas back in March. Currently running in the 14th position now. He's wrestled that spot away from BB Hange, who's now starting to drop like a rock. Hange was as high as 10th, I do believe, but has fallen back 5 positions. Now going to lose the 15th position to the number 20 of Jeremiah Simpson, even 17th here to Edson Hernandez, or 16th, excuse me, to Edson Hernandez. That is, he is going to lose that 16th position to Hernandez. So I think Hange might have just been running the tires just a little bit too aggressively, and now he's starting to slip back like a rock. So very unfortunate there for BB Hange, but again, there's still a long way to go here. We've yet to get to our first round of green flag pit stops. So there's still some time for BB Hange to rally back here in the later on here in this race. So lots can happen. Josh Lee taking a peek there for the 14th position, or for the 13th spot, I should say. Moscow has it. Lee, I would believe, wants it, and he's going to take it away very, very easily. I think Moscow, I mean, especially since that middle line is not particularly the place that you want to be in, because there's not as much grip as there normally would be down at the bottom. Wait a minute. Caution is on the racetrack. Caution is out. Big crash. Front straightaway. That's Nathan Stapleton. In the number 42 machine, caution is out. You also have the 83 of Sebastian Palmer with some right side damage. That is not something that Stapleton would have wanted whatsoever, but first yellow of the night is out here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Young leads him down. He's led every lap since the drop of the green flag. And we're getting ready to see what the strategy is going to look like here for these contenders, as they're going to make their way on down to pit road for the first time here tonight. Young is going to bring him on down. So best bet here, it could potentially be maybe 4 tires, possibly a tank of gas. There's a lot that could possibly happen here on pit road. Some drivers could take a little bit of strategy. Let's find out. As we're going to look on here with Michael Young. Lots of drivers are going on the right sides. Yep, 4 tires you see in the background there for Bob Floyd. Cars also takes 4. Oh, a little bit of contact back there. I believe, wait a minute, is that our points leader? Was that our points leader? That's our points leader. John Andrews, lots of trouble for him on pit road. He got in a little tussle with Rogel Dorn, who was also trying to get into his pit box, and lots of damage to our championship leader. Oh my goodness, that is not something that you want to see. Whom again, coming into this race, a 79-point difference between Andrews and Hernandez. That could possibly be that is more likely going to absolutely decrease after tonight significantly. But with that said, Michael Young did win the race off of pit road, so he is going to be your leader coming back to the green flag. Let's go back and look at what happened that caused our first yellow flag of the night and see if Nathan Stapleton is out of the race. No, he's not. He is still continuing on. Thank goodness for that. I would have to believe, yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it right here. So, looking at Nathan Stapleton here in this number 42 machine, he was in the middle of a 3-wide situation. Colin Block up top, Matt Jones on the bottom. And it looks like right here, Jones runs the corner a little bit too hot, gets into the 42 of Stapleton. And they both got sent down through the front straightaway as Jones and Stapleton mow the lawn. Stapleton once again sideways coming up across Fitzy, Zachary Fitzwater in the 9, as well as Daniel Adams. And then Stapleton, as you can see, just goes right up into the outside retaining barrier, facing the opposite direction from the actual racing line. And I believe Sebastian Palmer might have already had damage. I'm not sure if it was from a prior incident or if it was just there, but nonetheless, Sebastian Palmer probably was well off the pace from everybody else, but that's very unfortunate for Nathan Stapleton. And as he was the cause of our first yellow flag of the night here at the Texas Motor Speedway here. Let's take a look at it again, this time full speed. Just so much happening there within that small fraction of time. And thankfully, Fitzy and Adams were well far away from Nathan Stapleton to avoid him. But still, very tough break for Nathan Stapleton, who has just not had himself a great season whatsoever. He's about right around just below the top 30 in the point standings, and this is definitely not the thing that he was wanting here tonight, as he is going to be behind at the tail end of the field, of course, but still running on the racetrack, fortunately enough. But I mean, nonetheless, it's still not exactly something that Stapleton would have wanted whatsoever, as he rejoins the tail end of the field. Matt Jones, as well as I believe Sebastian Palmer, they're also going to be rejoining the tail end of the field as well. So man, oh man. So again, if you're just now tuning in, we're currently under our first yellow flag of the evening. And if you just caught the tail end of the replay, you would already know why. But for those that don't, Nathan Stapleton ended up getting turned by the 78 of Matt Jones through the infield grass, and Stapleton made a lot of contact with the outside wall, but thankfully he is still running on the racetrack. Nobody else was involved. And I believe we don't have anybody a lap down, so that's actually pretty nice. But John Andrews in the number 17, though, he is going to be one lap down. Andrews had a scuffle with Rogel Dorn trying to get into his pit box, or maybe trying to get out, actually. And unfortunately, and sadly, he's been sitting on pit road for quite a while. Just as a recap, again, I've said it before about 5 times. I'll say it again. John Andrews came into this race with a 79 points gap over Edson Hernandez. And that gap is going to get ever so smaller once we go to Phoenix next Saturday. And for those that may be wondering, why are we running this race on a Thursday night? Was it scheduled for a Friday night? Yes, it was. But I was recently invited to go out to Cedar Point over the weekend. So we're getting this race done and out of the way. And then we're going to be doing our Fortnite collab with Auxiliary, one of my mods / managers for our streaming stuff. And then Friday is going to be an all Sonic Shadow Generation stream that will be starting right when I get home. So definitely strap in, because there's going to be a lot happening here with in these next couple of nights. And we'll be back Monday night for the running of the Pumpkin 250. So it's going to be a pretty jam-packed week, I should say, for these next couple of nights. So as they come around, they've just taken one to go. They're coming around to get the restart on lap 31 with 30 laps complete. Is Michael Young the race leader? Sammy Carr second, Bob Floyd third, John Felber sitting in fourth, with Casey Wells completing the top 5. Alex Rampus sixth. Then running in 7th is the number 36 of Chad Gronkowski. Stephen Colon will be restarting 8th. Matthew Hubert 9th. Terry Walker completes the top 10, coming to the restart. Pace car drops onto pit road. And Michael Young is going to lead him down through the restart zone to get this race back going. Cologne did not waste any time to try to jump up to the outside and try to make some passes. But when he did, it did not really benefit him whatsoever. He loses a spot to Matthew Hubert, and he might lose another one to his teammate, Terry Walker, and maybe another one to his other teammate, Val Moscow. So, not necessarily something that you want to see if you're Stephen Colon, especially if two of your teammates are going right by you on the inside line. Remember, these drivers are on fresh tires, so they are able to go the speed that they were going at the beginning of the event, full throttle all the way around the racetrack until there is a little bit of tire fall off. So there will be drivers that, so they will have to back off the gas going through the corners. And battle for the race lead is on. Here comes the number 10 of Bob Floyd down to the inside of the 18 of Michael Young. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. And Young breaks out of that little fiasco. Floyd going to try it again here. Coming off of turn number 4. Not going to quite be successful there, as he's going to tuck in behind the 18 of Young and hold on to that second position. Hubert restarted 9th in this race and has already moved up to 4th. Rampus now going to try to take a look as they head back into turn 3. Sammy Cars, who started 3rd in this event, has fallen all the way back to the 6th position. They're 3 abreast back over here. That's Dale Johnson in the 27, who was in the middle. They were 3 wide, but Johnson was in the middle. I would have to believe Josh Lee was up top, and then right on the bottom was Edson Hernandez in the number 31 machine. Back into turn 3 again. Skylar Taylor now on the offense, or on the defense, excuse me, as Johnson is trying to take away what would be that 16th position as they head back through turn 1. Double file down the back straightaway yet again here for these two. Taylor edges ahead and is going to retain that 16th spot over Dale Johnson. Double file over here for 15th up, all the way up to 2nd place. Gronkowski trying to go for win number 3 on the season, but maybe try not to do it as basically as close as what he did back at Talladega in Michigan, where he won it on a last lap pass, just barely edging out the other competitors right at the line. But just edging out I would believe. Well, Sebastian Palmer did get edged out by Gronkowski at Michigan. I can't remember who it was at Talladega that he ended up nabbing the win over. But still, trying to win this thing without having to edge somebody out at the line. Gronkowski trying to go for his 3rd win of the season. Could very well happen here tonight. But he's on the attack there. But he's getting attacked by the 32 of Rampus. Johnson and Hernandez go through the grass. And once again, fantastic save by these two. A replay of what happened between Val Moscow and Matt Jones at the beginning of the event. Thankfully, they are able to continue on with no repercussions. We stay green. Coming around to complete lap 39 here at the Texas Motor Speedway. We'll have 128 laps to go in our 21st race of the season. After tonight, only 2 more races to go. We'll be at Phoenix next Saturday, and then we'll be at the Homestead Miami Speedway the following weekend on the November 9th. On November 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh man, a little bit of contact there between Hamill and Crampton. Down the front straightaway. Heading back down into turn 1. Those two drivers absolutely fighting it out. That's for the 19th position. Hamill, who wound it up, I believe, finishing 2nd to Zachary Fitzwater, who went on to win at Watkins Glen earlier this year, back in, I believe, at the tail end of September. Hamill completes the top 20, at least as of right now. but he might be on the attack, but he might be under attack from the 15 of Skylar Taylor here in just a little bit if he's not able to try to make some moves here, to try to move his way further up towards the front of the field, at least a little bit more further up, at least, the very, very least. He might be able to do so, trying to get underneath of the 21, Tatiana Noguera, our Texas winner from all the way back in April. It's been 6 months since Tatiana Noguera has taken a checker flag in the McDonald's Cup Series as a race winner. We very well would love to try to pull off the Texas sweep here tonight. It could very well happen. So right now, top 10 looking like this with 43 laps complete. Of course, Michael Young as the race leader. Rampus holds on to the second position. Bob Floyd slips back to third, with Casey Wells fourth, and BB Hange completing the top 5 as he's back in the picture, trying to get by the 36 of Gronkowski, which he has, who now falls back into 6th. It might, which is going to get stolen by the 41 of Nia Saito. So that means Gronkowski gets kicked back to 7th. Val Mosco 8th, Jeremiah Simpson 9th, and Stephen Colon completes the top 10 in the number 24 machine. Side by side here, this would be for the 6th position. Gronkowski riding the outside, but not going to quite be able to make it happen there on that second lane, as Steidl is going to retain that 6th position. BB Hange a little bit further up front. You just see there. You just saw it. He took away the 4th position from the 7 of Casey Wells. And now this is going to basically open up the opportunity for Steidl to knock on the door of the top 5, which she's going to kick that door down and steal away that 5th position from Wells, who drops back to 7th. So far, fantastic racing that we're seeing here at the Texas Motor Speedway so far. If you're just now tuning in, we've only had one caution throughout the entire race, and it was for Nathan Stapleton, who wound up hitting the outside wall. And he is still continuing on the racetrack. And then eventually, later on, when we had pit stops, there was a little scuffle on pit road with points leader John Andrews and the 7th and the 1 of Rogel Dorn. Andrews is out of the race. That is going to dramatically affect the championship picture once we go to Phoenix. But that still does not mean that Andrews is going to get himself a very significant point lead once we go to Homestead, Miami. For all we know, once we get to Phoenix next Saturday, he could perform his absolute heart out in that race to try to at least salvage whatever type of advantage that he can get over Edson Hernandez when we go to Phoenix. After Phoenix, I should say. And then he could be smooth sailing. He could still be smooth sailing to his first championship. Kind of hard to believe that we're at this point of the season, and we've basically, ever since we've gotten past race 4 to 5, we've been in uncharted territory ever since. And we've had ourselves an absolute blast this season, pretty much broadcasting all these races live right here on Twitch, premiering them the next day onto YouTube. It's been an absolute blast. We hope that you guys have been enjoying the season, and we hope that you are definitely looking forward to the action that is to come here in these final 2 races. After tonight, that is. So 50 laps complete from the Texas Motor Speedway. Michael Young continuing to lead. He's led every lap since the drop of the green flag. If he's able to, I would have to believe the halfway mark would be right around lap 83. If he can lead up to that point, he would obviously clinch up those 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. It very well could happen here tonight. Once again, it's happened a few times already this season. Could very well happen again tonight, this time with Michael Young. Here's the number 51, Roberto Crown Jr. Getting around the number 24, Stephen Colon, who's dropping like a rock. He's lost the 17th position. Skylar Taylor now going to lose 18th to DK Wood. probably going to fall outside of the top 20. A little bit further up front, there's Edson Hernandez getting contested by the 34 of Josh Lee. Lee's going to take away that 11th position very easily. Heading down the back straightaway, back into turn number 3. So a lot of double file action. A little bit more as they get into the top 10. There's Rampus on the attack on Nia Steidel. It's just basically what happens is that once a driver wrestles you up into that second line, you essentially just fall down the running order. And it's very hard to try to tuck in and try to find a spot in line where there's really little to no traffic all around you. That's a very, very helpless feeling when you're up there on that second line and you're not able to at least try to salvage whatever grip there is on that second lane to try to hang with the other driver that you're fighting for a position with. So for Nia Steidel, this is definitely a very, very helpless feeling. So she more than likely is going to fall outside of the top 10 since she did get wrestled up here into the second line. And then sound the train horns because now we have gone into a single file train here in Texas. Until you get back here, that is, with Bryce Egan here in this number 5. Wrestling away another position. This would be for 28th on the number 43 of Sammy Cars. Cars, again, started 3rd in this event. Has dropped all the way back to what's going to be 30th. And then some, actually. Tyler Belladonna in the number 4. This would be a very good opportunity for him to capitalize on whatever type of points that he's able to salvage to try to get himself just a little bit closer into the championship picture before Phoenix, that is. He could wound up winning tonight, but right now stuck in the 29th position. So far hasn't really made a whole lot of noise here in this number 4 machine. So right now, he's kind of just stuck here until we get to the next round of green flag pit stops. While focusing back up at the front of the field, we might have ourselves a fight for the 3rd position. Alex Rampus has been going on an absolute tear here in this number 32, at least trying to take away positions. He took the 4th spot, or at least the 5th position away from Nia Steidel. Then went up to 4th. Now going to try to take 3rd away from BB Haynes. You remember Haynes is trying to have himself a bounce. He's trying to bounce back from the unfortunate performance that he's had once we've gotten into the second half of the season, especially at least the last quarter of the second half of the season. He's just not had himself a great year whatsoever as far as the second part of the season is concerned, other than winning the Daytona 500 and having himself a good, strong first half. He hasn't really excelled all that well in the second half of the year, but trying to bounce back and make sure that these final 3 races are at least a good, strong finish to the 2024 season for BB Haynes here in this number 95 team. "60 laps will be completed this time by. In just a few more laps, and at least 7 more laps, will be at the 100 to go mark here in the NXT 500 from here at the Texas Motor Speedway. There's Alex Santamatali and the number 26, who also had himself a really good, strong, consistent start to the 2024 season. Unfortunately, has not really fared all that well ever since then. And not faring too well right now. Stuck up on that outside line, that helpless lane, I should say. Stuck in the 32nd position and still continuing to fall back like a rock. There's a lot of drivers that were started up at the front of the field, like even this number 16 of John Felber, for instance, that have faded all the way back here. More than likely could have been victims to poor pit stops, more than likely. Also for the 1 of Vogeldorn, again, had a little scuffle with the 17 of John Andrews, who came into this race as our championship leader. Unfortunately, took him out of this race. But as you see, We are getting ready for our first official round of green flag pit stops. Kyler, Sushai, Rogaldorn, and others are on pit road. We're getting ready to see who will be the next batch of cars that will be making their way down into the pits. Looks like Alex Rampus is going to come on down with Chad Gronkowski, Dale Johnson. A little bit of contact in the back. Around goes the 98 of Colin Block. Surprisingly, that doesn't bring out a caution because he was just barely off the racing line. Little bit of hood damage. Buckles on the hoods of the 9 of Zachary Fitzwater and the 16 of John Felber. They were in that little stack up there coming off of turn 4, heading into the pit area. But this really shouldn't affect Fitzy too badly, but he hasn't really been running all that well here tonight, unfortunately. A lot of it just has to do with qualifying, but here come the leaders on down to pit road. Michael Young, Bob Floyd, David Murray's already completed his stop. He's already down and away. Casey Wells, Jeremiah Simpson is in. Hernandez and others are all coming on down to pit road on lap 65. Looks like 4 tires here, 4. Michael Young, and he's just gonna barely get out in front of the 10 of Floyd, but they're side by side in the access road. That means Young has to lift, and Bob Floyd more than likely is gonna go to the race lead here on lap 66. At least he comes out in front of the 18 of Young. At the very least, he comes out in front of him. But we're just going to have to wait and see what the official results are going to look like here after this first round of green flag stops. After all, it could indeed be... Wait a second. It could be the 32 of Alex Rampus. Derek Hamill is the race leader, but I do believe he has already made his way on down to pit road. Actually, no, he's just made his way back out on the racetrack. I think he just made his way back out on the track. So that means Alex Rampus will be our new official race leader. Here at the Texas Motor Speedway, Chad Gronkowski will be in the second position. Then in third will be the 11 of Kyler Sushai, showing up inside of the top 10 for the first time tonight. With Bob Floyd fourth, Michael Young fifth, Dale Johnson sixth, Roberto Crown Jr., another driver showing up inside of the top 10 for the first time. Then BB Hage in 8th, Josh Lee 9th, Skylar Taylor rounding out the top 10 as we are now 67 down, 100 to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway for the running of the NXT 500. Again, after tonight, there will be 2 races left in the NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series season. It's been a very thrilling season, to say the least, as we're finally going to be able to give the McDonald's Cup Series the ending that it deserves once we go to Homestead, Miami on the 9th of November. Coming around to complete lap 69. Again, Rampus has a little under a 1.5-second advantage as of right now over Gronkowski. That lead has since then shrunk by about 6/100ths. So not a whole lot there that just got made up by Gronkowski, but fortunately he is making up time ever so slightly as we are nearing the halfway point of this race here at Texas. Rampus has been able to get by the 78 of Jones to put him 1 lap down, I would have to imagine. Yes, indeed. And we have not had any more retirees since the 17 of John Andrews. So Andrews is the unfortunate lone soul in the garage area here tonight. Again, came into this race as the points leader with an incredible points gap over Edson Hernandez. That more than likely is going to change after tonight. Well, that definitely is going to change after tonight. But the only question is how much will that points gap, how much of that points gap will be lost after this event? We're just going to have to find out after tonight. So if you are watching this race on YouTube, if you're watching the premiere of this race on YouTube, be sure to keep an eye on the Discord, on the NRLOA Discord, for the points standings. And for those that are not in the NRLOA Discord, you will see what the points look like next Saturday at Phoenix. 3/4 of a second now between Rampus and as well as the 36 of Chad Gronkowski. That lead has gotten small enough to where you can actually see Rampus in the frame right there on the bottom of your screen. So they are able to close in on the 32. Now 2/3 of a second is the difference. They're still running single file, at least for the most part. But for the moment, everybody's still running very calm, cool, and collected. Haven't really had a whole lot of other incidents that, well, the closest thing that we've had that could have brought out a caution flag was for Colin Block, who ended up going around due to a stack up coming into the pit road area. But thankfully, that did not bring out a caution flag because he was just below. He was just barely below the racing surface, and we are still able to continue on here in this race. We stay green. Coming around to complete lap number 76, Rampus continuing to lead the charge. Now just about 1/4 of a second between him and Gronkowski. And so far, it's been the top 8 that have been able to pull up. The top 7 have been able to pull up on a race leader of Rampus. So now top 8 are all in a group together. And we get back over here, 3 abreast. This is for the 9th position. Casey Wells on the bottom, Steidl in the middle, making contact there down the front straightaway. That could have gotten ugly, but thankfully that did not happen. Steidl continued to try to fight back on the outside. Probably is going to be able to edge ahead down the back straightaway of the 7 of Casey Wells. So Steidl has the 9th position currently, but Casey Wells is definitely going to want this one. Going to keep our eyes on this battle for 9th. And is it going to be Wells that just barely gets to the stripe? No, Steidl just barely edged out Wells at the line for the 9th position. But this time, Casey Wells going to be able to take it away, but hold on just a minute. Steidl continuing to fight back on the back straightaway, heading back into the 3rd corner. But it's just not going to be enough. No Man's Land, unfortunately, is going to bite Steidl in the leg, and now Steidl is going to fall outside of the top 10. She's going to lose 2 positions, fall all the way back to 11th, maybe 12th here if she's not 100% careful. Crampton moves up into the top 10 for the first time in a little while here in this event. And we are nearing halfway home here in the NXT 500 here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Trying to get around the 78 of Jones, whom again is a lap down. So Steidl is going to fall all the way back to the 12th position here in the number 41 machine. Right behind the 38 of Damian Kyle Wood. But still doing an absolutely masterful job here in this race. And so far she's done a pretty good job of staying consistently right around the top 10, top 15 area of this event, especially after starting 26th in this race. Heading back down into turn 3. There's BB Hange in the number 95 at the tail end of this little 8-man pack, 8-driver pack, I should say. Heading back down into turn 1. Looks like Haynes is going to try again on trying to get a position here on Roberto Crown Jr. Again, Roberto Crown Jr. is going to actually be bringing his own team to the WLA Pepsi Cup Series in 2025 with Powerhouse Crown Racing. His little 3-car stable, of course, with Roberto Crown Jr. himself driving one of his own cars. He'll be driving the number 21 machine in 2025. So definitely looking forward to seeing how Powerhouse Crown Racing is going to be able to manage the WLA competition. We are past halfway here in this race. 84 down, 83 to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Floyd trying to take a peek for the race lead. He's going to do it, heading back down into turn number 1. And he probably might be able to make this one stick, but Rampus continuing to put up a fight. How about Michael Young trying to go 3 wide here for this race lead, heading back into turn 3. Rampus is going to back out of this one, so this will be double file. How about this for the 18 of Michael Young? He started on the pole. He's going to go back to the point here in Texas on lap number 86. Gronkowski now putting the pressure on for the 12th spot, or for the second position, excuse me, not 12th, but for second. As Floyd continuing to slip back like a rock in no man's land. So Young goes back to the race lead, and this is basically where he's been all night, other than the first official round of green flag pit stops that sent him back quite a ways. Or at least as far back as 4th, or I think it was 6th position. As far back as 6th, I do believe. But he's been able to work his way back up front, and now he's back in control of this race, in the lead. But we have ourselves another round of green flag pit stops coming up here very, very shortly, so it once again could change up the complexions of what the top 10 looks like. 3 wide for second, as Floyd manages to find his way back to the bottom. He's going to try to get back up into that second spot to chase down the 18 of Young for the top position. And so far, doing an absolutely amazing job is the 10 of Floyd. He's going to edge ahead, heading back down the backstretch. And just like that, Floyd moves back up into the second spot. Rampus gets kicked back to 3rd. Sustry in 4th. How about the 95 BB Hange moving up inside of the top 5? Getting around Chad Gronkowski in the 36, who's going to slip back into the 8th position. Let's take a look a little bit further back in the field. There's Crampton under fire from the 41 of Nia Steidel. This right here would be the fight for the 12th position, actually. So Steidel is going to take it right on back in her little quest to try to get back up into the top 10. She's going to have to try to pass 2 more cars in order to do it. But Crampton is starting to fall back like a rock in this number 22 machine, as now he falls back to the 16th position, right behind Damian Kyle Wood in the number 38. But yet another round of green flag pit stops are getting set to take place here in, I'd say, maybe another lap or 2. I'd say give it around that time. Something could change. Crampton puts the crossover on Wood, so that means he will go back up to 15th. He's going to bring the 23 of Matthew Hubert with him. And Will Parrish in that number 2 machine. Haven't really talked about him all day, all night long, and here he is in 18th. Trying to find the right opportunity to try to get himself the perfect pit stop that will move him up into the top 10, maybe top 5. Could win this race if he plays his cards right. It is a win tonight is very well possible for the 2 of Will Parrish. A little bit of double file right over here. Roberto Crown Jr. Two fights right here. That's Roberto Crown Jr. in the 51 trying to get by the 11 of Sustrai. This would be the fight for the 5th position to get inside of the top 5, of course. And it looks like Crown might be able to win that battle as Sustrai in, well, as I'd like to call no man's land. So Sustrai gonna get kicked back to 8th, actually. Loses 3 positions, so that means Crown is gonna move up to 5th and be behind 6th. Then 7th will be the 36 of Gronkowski. But we should be getting ready for our next round of green flag pit stops here very shortly. I'd probably give it to about maybe around lap 100-ish or so. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Steidl losing a little bit more positions. She's going to fall all the way back to 14th. Tucking in behind the 47 of Derek Hamill. Hamill putting together a pretty strong performance here at the tail end of the season. There's another driver that we really haven't talked too much about all year. Up until right around, I'd say, Watkins Glen, where he was up in the 2nd position. It probably was one of the only other drivers that had a legitimate challenge of dethroning Zachary Fitzwater, but ended up finishing in 2nd. But still a really good result nonetheless there for Derek Hamill, and he's been smooth sailing right around this part of the pack, right around top 15, top 20 ever since then. Sometimes he'll have a spotlight of rocking right around top 5, top 10, but this is generally where he's been practically all year. Generally speaking, this is pretty much where his season has been averaging out. Heading around. Back straightaway into turn 3. Moscow trying to put some pressure onto the 15 of Skylar Taylor. This would be for the 11th position. Sustrai, here we go. Next round of green flag pit stops are getting started. Stapleton is in. Ryan Durrani mowing the lawn here at Texas. I'm not sure that's a legal entry into your pit road there, buddy. That was interesting. Apparently, I think we saw this 6 months back, but it might have been with Casey Wells, actually, all the way back in April. Wells, I think, did something similar to what Durrani just did there. But again, pit stops are taking place. Stapleton has been in. Travis Crampton, Sustrai down and away. And here are the leaders. At least some of them. Daniel Adams down and away. There's Chad Gronkowski, and as well as the 7 of Casey Wells. They're already making their pit stops. And I would believe Ryan Durrani had to serve a penalty there. At least a 15-second penalty for illegal entry onto pit road. So he's down and away. So Hamill has the race lead, but he will have to surrender it and come on down to pit road to get service done on his race machine. And he will do just that. So that will mean Hamill, Moscow, Steidl, Walker, they're all in. Bryce Egan comes on down to pit road. So, as far as who the race leader is going to be, that's going to be the question right here. Because, again, Hamill's the race leader, but he's already in the pits. He probably has already made his way back out as we currently speak. Actually, no, he just started his pit stop. Egan has already made his way into the pits. And let's see where Terry Walker is at right now. I believe Walker is also another driver that's still in pit road. Yep, he just made his pit stop. He's already down and away. So we have yet to actually figure out what the state of the top 10 is actually going to look like. I believe it's going to be Rampus leading yet again. And it is. With Kyler Sustry sitting in the second position. Dale Johnson, the second, sitting in third. Damian Kyle Wood, fourth. Then Travis Crampton completing the top 5 with the 10 of Bob Floyd in 6th. Chad Gronkowski in 7th. Skylar Taylor 8th. B.B. Haynes 9th. And Roberto Crown Jr. completing the top 10 with 103 now laps complete. 64 laps to go here in the NXT 500. Pack is a little bit more spread out than what they were at the I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but a little bit more than what they were at the conclusion of the official first round of green flag pit stops. But here we are after the second round. Everybody is a little bit more spread out than what they were. Michael Young, who had worked his way back up to the race lead, has slipped all the way back to 11th, so now he's going to have more work cut out for him to try to wrestle his way back up to the point. But we do have one more pit stop to go, and I would have to assume it would be right around lap 149. So once these drivers end up completing their stops right around that time, they'll be 100% good to go the rest of the way. Again, if you're just now tuning in, 105 laps complete, coming around to complete lap 106. We will have 61 laps of racing to go. Alex Rampus continuing to lead the charge after completing our second round of green flag pit stops. We've only had one caution, and it was for Nathan Stapleton, who ended up having a little tussle with the outside wall after getting turned into the infield by Matt Jones back, I would believe, on lap number 17 of this race. And then eventually, during yellow flag pit stops, John Andrews ended up getting into a little scuffle with Rogel Dorn in the pit entry. I would believe John Andrews was trying to leave his pit as Dorn was entering his pit box. And that was the thing that knocked John Andrews out of the race. And he is 42nd. And remember, John Andrews came into this race with a 79 points gap over Edson Hernandez. Where's Hernandez, you ask? Well, he's not faring too well in this race, but faring better than what John Andrews is right now, sitting in the 27th position. So that points gap could decrease just slightly, but not enough for Hernandez to have some form of mathematical chance. He would have to hope and pray that Andrews has another terrible race at Phoenix in order for Hernandez to have a shot at the 2024 championship. If not, then it probably will just be a smooth cakewalk for John Andrews all the way to the 2024 championship. So top two separated by 1/3 of a second between one another. Then you get to another 2 seconds back. There's the 27 of Dale Johnson. Just barely checked out over the 10 of Bob Floyd, who sits fourth. Then Damian Kyle Wood showing up inside of the top 5 for the first time tonight, now battling for the 4th position. There's Chad Gronkowski. There's also B.B. Haynes and Travis Crampton fighting it out. This is for 8th. Roberto Crown Jr. sitting in the 10th spot, and has Michael Young in his rearview mirror. Haynes is going to take over the 8th position over Travis Crampton as they race on back down through turn 3, heading off of turn at number 4. And again, we have one more green flag pit stop to go here in this event. And more than likely, it could happen right around lap 49, lap 150, I would say. but still very well possible here tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway. Once again, these drivers settled back down into, for the most part, a single file formation, but still trying to wrestle around for track position. For example, we have Stephen Colon going after, well, trying to get by the 98 of Colin Block, who is 40th, one lap down, but this is still position on the track that could be very beneficial. And when it comes down to trying to get positions, Nia Steidl, who actually has been running right around top 5, top 10, well, but for the most part, top 10 all race long since starting in 26th, has fallen and did not have herself a good pit stop whatsoever. She's fallen all the way back to 21st, now fighting Stephen Colon for 20th to try to get back into the top 20. Colon's just edging ahead a little bit, heading back down through turns 3 and 4 this time by. And it looks like Steidl is just going to get that 20th position back from Stephen Colon. So if Steidl's going to have any shot at either a top 10 or even possible a win, she obviously will have to have the pit stop of a lifetime in order to ensure that she's going to have an opportunity to try to go for a race win. And she's been in that spot a few times this season, but unfortunately has not been able to close out the deal with a win. But she has performed pretty stellar. But her performance this year actually has been pretty stellar, especially for her first NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series tenure. Heading back around through turns 3 and 4. Steidl is going to take over, well, is going to continue to hold on to that 20th position, trying to chase down the 47 of Derek Hamill. So far, no progress there whatsoever, but as of right now, things are getting pretty interesting. As, for example, Michael Young, who was 11th at the end of our last round of green flag pit stops, is already starting to waste zero time whatsoever. He chased down these two drivers of Crampton, and as well as Damian Kyle Wood, and has taken 2 positions. He's already up to 9th. Now going to try to chase down this pack of cars right here to pick up some more positions. Trying to get himself back up to the front of the field with the race lead. Top 2 still running first and second, Rampus and Sustry. That's exactly the order that they came out in, and that's the order that they have stayed in for up until this point. Up to this point, actually, I should say. $120 laps complete, 47 laps remaining here in the NXT 500 here at the Texas Motor Speedway. BB Haynes continuing to hold on to a top 5 position. Again, trying to turn around what has been an abysmal second half to his season. And trying to finish off the year strong with trying to get 3 spectacular finishes that could pull himself back up to right around top 15 in the points standings. We're just going to have to find out here in not just after tonight, but also after the next 2 races to see where he would end up finishing the year off in. But our Daytona 500 winner has been, unfortunately, had his woes in this particular portion of the season, but as of right now, trying to bounce back and currently having himself a really good performance here tonight. He's dropped as low as right around 17th, or probably right around top 20, but that was earlier in the race, and he's done pretty good. Another 2 spots have been captured by Michael Young. He just got by Gronkowski and Skylar Taylor, now trying to set his sights on the number 51 of Roberto Crown Jr. as this pack is slowly closing in on the top two of Kyler Sustry and Alex Rampus. Rampus trying to go for his first career win. Then Sustry and as well as Dale Johnson all trying to go for their first wins. Haynes trying to go for win number 2 on the year. Lap 124 now in the books. Boy, if you're somebody like Michael Young, for instance, I mean, you're definitely thanking Jesus above for having yourself a really good long run car. You're gonna try to pick up as many positions as you possibly can here until this final round of green flag pit stops does come up. But we've seen though that Michael Young, especially when it came down to pit stops, Young hasn't really had the best of pit stops at all, and unfortunately has dropped a little bit too far down the points, the running order in the race as far as the leaderboard's concerned. After the first official round of green flag pit stops, he fell all the way back to 6th. This last round of green flag pit stops, he fell all the way back to 11th. And hopefully he doesn't fall any deeper down the running order after this final round of green flag pit stops coming up here in, I would have to say, another 12 laps time. Field has caught up to the top two. Bob Floyd already making a charge on the 30 of the 11 of Sustry to try to retake that second position. Gonna easily make it work. And now Dale Johnson the second already pouncing on the opportunity to try to take over third from Sustry, putting the number 11 into no man's land. Haynes trying to make it 3 wide here. That would have been for the 4th spot, or for 3rd, excuse me. That would have been for 3rd. Michael Young just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to follow right in the tire tracks of the 95 here for just a little bit. In the process, he takes over 6th, already knocking on the door of the top 5. And he's going to do just that by trying to get around his own teammate of Kyler Sustry in the number 11 machine. Around to complete 129 laps here at the Texas Motor Speedway. It will be 38 to go. 37 to go when they cross the stripe this time by to complete lap 130. Young moves up into the top 5. Now going to try to get around. Now he's possibly methodically trying to think about a way to get past the 95 of BB Haynes and try to do it in the most clever way possible. I would also have to say the same thing for trying to get by the 27 of Dale Johnson. He might continue to try to fall right into the tire track, right in the tire tracks of the 95 of Haynes. At least that's when it comes down to trying to get position. But now he gets put up into no man's land by Roberto Crown Jr., who's trying to get back into the top 5. Meanwhile, up front, challenge for the lead is on. Here comes Bob Floyd to the inside of the 32 of Alex Rampus. Remember, both of these drivers trying to go for their first wins on the season and of their McDonald's Cup Series careers, continuing to fight dead even, heading through turns 3 and 4. But that no man's land groove, I had it right the first time, but then my brain second guessed it. But no man's land pays off there for Bob Floyd. He takes it away and leaves Alex Rampus back in the dust as he gets kicked back to second. Dale Johnson now facing pressure from the 95 of BB Haynes. That's for the 3rd position as they head back down the front straightaway to complete lap 133. 34 laps of racing to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway. The final round actually of green flag pit stops is getting started a little bit earlier than what I would have thought. perhaps some strategy is being played here in the late stages here of the NXT 500 at Texas. Let's see who'll be the next batch of drivers that will come on down to pit road. Looks like Damian Kyle Wood is going to break off. He comes on down. Who will be the next one? I believe the 7 of Casey Wells is in. So far, those are the next 2 that have made their way on down. San Vitali is going to make his way on down into the pit entry. Let's see if the race leaders are going to make that move, and yes, indeed, they will. Lap 135, Floyd surrenders the lead to the 51 of Roberto Crown Jr. He comes on down to pit road, brings a big old crowd of cars with him. So up front, challenge for the lead is on. Here comes Michael Young underneath of Roberto Crown Jr. Remember this group of cars will have to come on down pit road one more time before this thing is all said and done. Top 4 stay out. Matt Jones comes on down, same for Jeremiah Simpson. You also have Tyler Belladonna showing up inside of the top 10 for the first time tonight. Remember, he comes into this race 3rd in the points, trying to have himself a better chance of getting back into that championship fight. Steidel also was in, along with Val Mosco. There's our defending Texas winner, Tatiana Noguera, in the pits. Roberto Crown Jr. is going to surrender the lead and brings the 95 of BB Hange and also Michael Young on down pit road. I believe the 99... No, that's the 48 of Terry Walker on pit road. I thought Wyatt came on down to pit road. I think he might have, but just might not have seen it. Well, here is the 99 of Wyatt Walker, whom I believe has already made his round of green. He's already made his green flag pit stop, so he should be good to go the rest of the way on that set of tires and the tank of fuel that he has. Same goes for everybody else, but again, stranger things have happened in the McDonald's Cup Series here in the McDonald's Cup Series. So there could be some drivers that could be a lap short, maybe 2 laps short. Maybe some that are going to try to gamble and take it all the way to the checkered flag. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens here as we wind on down to the end here of the NXT 500 from here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Next Saturday, we'll be at the Phoenix International Raceway for the running. I can't even remember the race name anymore. But we'll be at Phoenix International Raceway for the penultimate race of the 2024 season. That action starts on the 2nd of November at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully you guys are able to tune in for that one, because it's going to be a fun way to try to decide and figure out how the championship race is going to play out at the Homestead Miami Speedway the following week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very, very fun. Caution is on the racetrack. Big crash on the front straightaway. Avon Murray, BB Hange got caught up in this one, as well as the 55 of Daniel Adams. Second caution of the night. Big stack up here, heading into turn 1. Be careful. Oh my goodness gracious. Kyler Sustry just absolutely pound. Oh, what is happening? Fitzy got absolutely slammed in the back by Kyler Sustry. Rampus came rushing in. What in the world just happened? What in the world just happened? The complexions of this race have just changed dramatically yet again. There are some drivers that are going to choose to stay out because, again, this happened just after green flag pit stops completed. And after all of that, this is going to hand Damian Kyle Wood the race lead. Michael Young, our pole sitter, Looked like he was in the middle of that, but has no damage in the 18, so he should be 100% good to go. But I don't even know what just happened there. There's Daniel Adams, 55. He is going to be done for the night. Unfortunately, he's not going to see the checkered flag fall here at the Texas Motor Speedway. I don't even know. I don't even have any words to really describe what in the world just happened there. But Damian Kyle Wood is your race leader here. Under our second caution of the night, let's go back and review what happened that put us under the second yellow flag of the night. And one of those of which involved the 95 of BB Hange. We're about to find out just exactly what happened. And this was another case of 3 wide. So let's go through it. Let's go ahead and go through it. So 3 wide here. That's BB Hange up top in the 95. Daniel Adams in the middle. Avon Murray on the bottom. And this is probably going to be a case of, well, Murray probably drove it off the corner just a little bit hotter than what he would have wanted. He's going to get up into the 55 of Daniel Adams, who then will come up into the 95 of Hange. And they're going to go around on the front straightaway right up against the wall. And, oh wow, that could have been really bad there. If that great job for Michael Young and also Val Mosco to miss that. But Murray continues to slide sideways. Then BB Hange ends up delivering the bump that turns the number 30 around by just a little bit. But then as these drivers are getting slowed down, remember, they've taken the caution flag, and there's still the other drivers that are just trying to get back up to speed to catch up to the tail end of the field. Remember, they've already taken the caution flag. So, of course, they're all slowing down. They're getting woed up. They're backing it down. So there's going to be a little stack-up effect that happens, but as we fast forward, Zachary Fitzwater, you see in the 9, he's going to get woed up, and just barely in time, he does sideswipe the 9 and the 42 of Stapleton. Remember, that's going to be Stapleton is going to be Fitzy's future boss 3 times over. Remember, well, hold on. Let's follow with Sustrite. Just absolutely slams Zachary Fitzwater in the back end. Then Rampus eventually piles in. Right here, gets into the 34 of Josh Lee. I'm not 100% sure why there were other drivers that were on the lead lap that were going way faster than what they should have, that were going pretty much race speed. They should not have been doing that. But unfortunately, we're going to have some more retirees here from this event in the late stages of the NXT 500 from here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and find where Avon Murray is. Actually, no, well, we've got BB Hange, so we're just going to replay this at normal speed and show you the whole thing. As if 3 wide wasn't going to be any sort of trouble here. They just went sideways all the way down that part of the front straightaway at such a fast rate of speed. That was absolutely wild. And this was wild too here. Look at Fitzy in the background. There he is in the yellow number 9. Sideswipes Stapleton. And then here comes Kyler Sustry in the background. Bam! And then Josh Lee comes in. He gets rear-ended by the 32 of Rampus. Rampus is another driver that has been performing spectacular tonight, and it is such a shame to see him go out this way. Definitely not the ending that Alex Rampus would have wanted. He definitely would have wanted to take the checkered flag to get his first McDonald's Cup Series win. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen tonight as we are winding down into the later stages of this race here at the Texas Motor Speedway. So we're back to live action. And just to review, it is Damian Kyle Wood who is the race leader. Then running in second, under caution, is the number 10 of Bob Floyd. Skylar Taylor is third, with the 27 of Dale Johnson the second, running in fourth. Casey Wells completes the top 5, with the 51 of Roberto Crown Jr. sitting in the 6th position. Then 7th is the 20 of Jeremiah Simpson. 8th is the 2 of Will Parrish, finally showing up inside of the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Chad Gronkowski 9th, and completing the top 10, that is the number 22 of Travis Crampton. So working lap 143 under caution. Again, if you're just tuning in, we have had ourselves yet another incident that has put us back under the yellow flag. After a very long green flag run, a well over 100 lap green flag run that just came to a halt just a matter of a few laps ago, that we're going to see some more retirees from this race. Of course, Zachary Fitzwater is out of it after getting rear-ended by Kyler Sustry. Then we also have Daniel Adams, Alex Rampus, Avon Murray, and Josh Lee. Add those drivers to the retiree list for tonight. So John Andrews is not going to be alone. But as far as Andrews' case, the points gap that he had, the 79 points gap that he had coming into tonight after his win from Martinsville, that gap is going, a little bit of that gap is going to be erased after tonight, of course, depending on where Edson Hernandez finishes. If Hernandez does get a good finish, which I'm not sure if he is going to be able to, but if he does, it's going to take a significant portion of John Andrews' points gap away if he were to win. Now, if Hernandez were to win tonight, then that would mean that would mean Hernandez would still have a shot at the championship. Because remember, even though it is 40 points for finishing in first place, it is 10 additional bonus points for winning a race. So we're just going to have to find out and see how this race unfolds with 23 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. Again, to review your top 10 coming to the restart: Damian Kyle Wood, the leader. Bob Floyd in second. Skylar Taylor third. Dale Johnson fourth. Casey Wells completes the top 5 with Roberto Crown Jr. 6th, Jeremiah Simpson 7th, Will Parrish 8th, Chad Gronkowski 9th, and the 22 of Travis Crampton rounds out the top 10. Field rounds their way through turn number 4. They're going to see the green flag fly with 23 laps to go. What is the finish of the NXT 500 going to look like? Let's find out. Damian Kyle Wood brings him down. Good jump on the restart there for Wood and Bob Floyd. They break out with the advantage, and everybody else on that inside line is starting to absolutely get jostled up. They are 3 wide here as Jones is absolutely well off the pace. They come off of turn number 4. Now the challenge is everybody going to get by the slower traffic, at least the slower car of Matt Jones here, safely? We're about to find out. Lead change right here. Bob Floyd goes back to the point over the 38 of Damian Kyle Wood. 3 wide over here is Colin Block is going to shove his nose underneath of the 23 of Matthew Huber. This is not for official race position, but this is for at least drivers that are 1 lap down or more. Block is 6 laps down. Hubert is 4 laps down. If Colin Block is able to get by the 10 of Floyd, he will have officially gotten 1 of his laps back. And it looks like he's going to be able to do just that. While all that's happening, that does open up the door for Roberto Crown Jr. to move up into the 2nd position and try to challenge for that race lead. Floyd is in no man's land, and that is going to be the thing that puts the 51 of Roberto Crown Jr. in the lead for the first time tonight. 38 of Damian Kyle Wood following in the tire tracks of the 51 by just barely. As now they're side by side for the 2nd position. Crown takes the lead away with 19 laps to go, actually. 19 to go here in Texas. Teammates fighting side by side for the 4th position. That's the 2 of Parrish, 22, Travis Crampton. Look at Nia Steidel in the number 41 machine. Remember, she started 26th and had been pretty much running right around here. Top 10 all race long. Top 10, top 15. The lowest that she's been since then has been 21st. But here she is, all the way up in the 6th position, challenging for the top 5 on Travis Crampton. 3 wide here, Michael Young, who's trying to get back up to the race lead after starting on the pole, is in a very peculiar situation, a very dangerous situation. As of that, he tried to clear down in front of Val Mosco, but he just got absolutely sent back up to the 2nd lane because Mosco said, no, man, yeah, you're not going to come down here right in front of me. Now Floyd trying to get by. Well, I think this is for the 4th position, actually. Did Seidel just get by Floyd for 4th? Around the outside? She did. So now Steidel is on the attack. Side by side for 2nd in front of the 41. Parrish and also Damian Kyle Wood fighting it out. Floyd trying to do everything that he can to try to get by the 41 of Nia Steidel. As all that is happening, Roberto Crown Jr. is pulling away. This is exactly what he wants to see in his rearview mirror. Just these drivers fighting side by side. And that, look at the gap that he has over 2nd place Will Parrish. That is a very significant gap that he's got. A little over a 1 second lead. $14 to go. Steidel has moved her way up to 3rd. Now going to try to go for 2nd on the 2 of Will Parrish. Could possibly do it. But she's got to get a good enough run down the back straightaway. Heading down into turn number 3. Not able to capitalize this time by, but could very well do it coming down the front straightaway. Let's find out. Battle for 4th between Mosco and Bob Floyd. 3 wide there with Mitchell O'Brien, who's also shown up inside of the top 10 for the first time tonight. There it is. Fight for 2nd is on. As Steidel managed to try to get to the race lead and try to get to 2nd, heading down through turn 1, dead even down the back straightaway. This is still opening up the door for Roberto Crown Jr. to drive away with the lead and what more than likely could possibly be the race win. Steidel moves up to 2nd. Coming around to 11 laps to go, Roberto Crown Jr. has a 1.5-second gap over new 2nd place Nia Steidel. And this is actually what's probably going to be a very dominant win, to say the least, for Roberto Crown Jr. if he is able to hang on. But it is rather impressive that he's been able to pull out to this type of an advantage. But Seidel is also starting to check out from this pack as well. Hamill going for position, this time on the 88 of Val Moscow. 3 wide over here with Tatiana Nogueira. Trying to move their way up to the front. Showing up inside of the top 10 for the first time tonight with 10 laps of racing to go. Seidel has eaten away at the gap of Roberto Crown Jr. just by a little bit. But a lot of the action is right here. Terry Walker now going for the position. Going for, I believe that's for 6th position, excuse me. Actually, no, that was for 5th. On Will Parrish. 3 wide over here once again. Stephen Colon in the number 24. In the middle with Edson Hernandez up top. Crampton on the bottom. They get it settled back down. Parrish continuing to struggle in no man's land, as he more than likely is going to fall outside of the top 10. Actually, no, he's going to fall to the tail end of the top 10. As here we go. Fight for second could be on here as Derek Hamill takes a peek down low on the 41 of Steidl, who has been trying to catch up to the number 51 of Roberto Crown Jr., who had put up a very impressive gap, and what did increase as far up as a 1.5 seconds has now been chopped down by a 0.5 seconds. 7 to go here in Texas. Crown trying to get his first NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series win, and possibly trying to capitalize at a time when it matters the most. A lot of drivers who were at the very bottom, of the point standings, or at least close to the bottom, right around top 30, they've been managing to get really good finishes and turning their seasons around, getting wins. I mean, look at Bryce Egan. Egan was right around 32nd in the point standings, and it catapulted him all the way, and with a win of Chicago, I should say, it catapulted him all the way up to right around 20th. And he's been able to perform well since then, but right now faring 20th, still not that bad of a night there for Bryce Egan. As you see Derek Hamill get around the 41 of Nia Steidl with 5 laps to go. Now put Derek Hamill in the catbird seat to try to chase down the number 51 of Crown. But Steidl gets right back on the attack, puts the crossover on the number 47 of Hamill. In an effort to try to get back up to the race, to try to get back up to second and try to go for this race lead. Didn't have a good enough run that time around, so she'll settle in that 3rd position. But now under the attack from Terry Walker for the 3rd spot. Now she's going to find herself in no man's land, all thanks to Terry Walker right there. 3 laps to go. The gap has now decreased to 2/3 seconds between Crown and Hamill. Steidl is falling back in the number 51, so she'll probably have to settle for maybe 6th here if she can get back in line behind Tatiana Nogueira. Coming to 2 laps to go. The gap has now decreased to 0.4 seconds. As they're coming around for the white flag, this time by Hamill is starting to get within striking distance, but will he have enough time? Final lap from Texas. Roberto Crown Jr., who has had himself a very quiet season, just like Derek Hamill. Now the gap is 1/4 second. As they head down the back straightaway one final time, the last-ditch effort may have to come from turn 4, but it's not going to happen as they make their way off of turn number 4. Roberto Crown Jr. finally is going to be a McDonald's Cup Series winner from here in Texas. Hamill comes home in second, Terry Walker third, Tatiana Nogueira a strong comeback at the end, finishing in fourth. Val Moscow completes the top 5 with the number 3 of Mitchell O'Brien finishing in 6th. Tyler Belladonna coming back and finishing in 7th after being quiet all race long. Nia Steidl, who could have been very well close to her first McDonald's Cup Series win, she comes home in 8th. Still a very strong performance for the 41 of Steidl. Then 9th is the number 24 of Stephen Colon, and Jeremiah Simpson rounds out the top 10. But Derek Hamill, yet again, oh so close. But he's got 2 more chances this next Saturday at Phoenix, and then the season finale at Homestead Miami Speedway. But there's a look at the rest of your results from 11th all the way down to, I want to say, 32nd. They all finished on the lead lap. Matt Jones, Matthew Hubert, and also Colin Block, they all finished 2, 3, and 5 laps down. And then the retirees, of course, from Daniel Adams all the way down to John Andrews. They all smelled what the Rock was cooking, and unfortunately, were not able to be around to see the checkered flag fall here at the Texas Motor Speedway. But this definitely is going to affect John Andrews the worst, especially since he is the championship leader. And that gap that he had over Edson Hernandez, whom eventually is going to be whom eventually is probably going to lose the runner-up spot to Tyler Belladonna. But we'll definitely know once the point standings come out. But that gap has decreased probably just by about a lot, I would say. So that 79 points gap that Andrews had, he'll have to kiss that goodbye once we head into the next race at the Phoenix International Raceway. We hope you guys are able to see that, or we hope you guys are able to tune in for that next Saturday, at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are watching the premiere, be sure to keep an eye on the NRLOA Discord to see what the point standings are going to look like. But if you're not in the NRLOA Discord, I'm having a stroke. You'll see the point standings next Saturday when we're at the Phoenix International Raceway, and it should be a very fun one once we get to that point. But until then, I want to thank you guys a lot for watching the NXT 500 from here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Big congratulations to Roberto Crown Jr. on getting the job done here at Texas. If you like what you see, be sure to hit that follow button so you do not miss a future stream. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't considered doing it. Turn on post notifications. It will most certainly be absolutely wonderful if you would do that, because we are 9 subscribers away from the good old 600. So we're definitely moving up here in the world of YouTube. So definitely starting over from scratch is definitely paid off, especially over the course of the last 5 years. But one more time, congratulations to Roberto Crown Jr. on winning here at the Texas Motor Speedway. And next time we'll see you will be on the 2nd of November at 1 o'clock Eastern for the penultimate race of the NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series at the Phoenix International Raceway. That's going to be fun, and we hope you guys will be able to tune in once we get to that point. But until then, have yourselves a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you right back here on November 2nd at Phoenix. Take care, y'all.